how many times did I make New Year resolutions and promises to myself, only to break them in a few weeks? As you probably know, gym membership skyrockets by 100% each January, only to crash back the next month. So at least I wasn't alone in this crap. But good news, there are proven ways to break that cycle and convert the initial motivation into long-term success. And it doesn't apply to gym only, but to any self-improvement habit, from weight loss to learning how to play an accordion. We are going to talk mostly about exercise here, because that is what I have successfully tried myself and have some insights into, but the principles are universal. From exponential return to kissing your way through, from pleasure stacking to hijacking your dopamine systems, it's science with a prescription. So try not to miss any steps. And in the end, we'll talk about how long it takes to see the results and how it will change your life if you decide to stick with it. And you want to improve your life, right? That's why you're here. So, back to New Year syndrome. Up until 2 years ago, I was doing exactly the same. Signing up, going all out, dropping out. Basically doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
The mistake I was making, I was trying to run on motivation alone. But you see, motivation only gets you to the foot of the mountain. To get all the way up, we need discipline. So what I really needed was a game plan. I had to outsmart my monkeys. Everyone has those, psychologists call them fast and slow thinking systems. But after my meditation adventures, I like to give them some personalities. It makes life a little more fun. And unfortunately, my main, or at least the noisiest monkey, who is in charge of default network in the brain, most of the time is extremely lazy, emotional, and hates change. So to stop the insanity, I had to convince her, him, they, to try something new this time. When I'm not saving the world one video at a time and have to waste the valuable time to pay the bills, I write code. And because in my opinion all good programmers are lazy, when I run into a coding problem, the first thing I do, I go to stackoverflow.com, and in 90% of the cases somebody has already figured out the solution. When I write the script for my life and run into a problem, the first thing I do, I check the library, and in 99% of the cases somebody has already written the book with the solution. My top books for the deep dive into discipline and setting yourself up for the success are Atomic Habits by James Clear, How to Create Good Habit Loops, Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, Why the Hard Things Are Exactly What You Want to Do, and Influence by Robert Cialdini, Psychological Tricks to Affect Other People, but what's more important in this case, to affect yourself. As it happens, I got asked about lessons on discipline and habit building by the non-candidate here, and I like to answer your questions, that's how I make content. So let me outline the main tips I've pulled from these books to get consistent resistance training into my life, and how I apply same principles nowadays to running, which I'm still struggle a little bit with. But at least now I know that success is possible and how long it takes. Number one is know your why, but focus on the process. Everyone wants to be healthy, but there is a difference between everyone and successful people. Successful people have the process and routines dialed in. So I'm not training for 10k run, instead I just go for a jog every other morning. But the key here is to have it on a schedule, so that lazy monkey knows ahead of time what's going on. I used to have to-do lists until I realized that they're just graveyards of my good intentions. So nowadays, if I want something done, I put it on a schedule. It removes the wiggling room from that monkey. Schedules can be amplified or in some cases replaced by stacking. That's when you pair a new habit with an existing one, so it gets triggered automatically, it doesn't require processing power. In my case, I already have a lifetime routine. I wake up, go and greet the sun, have a glass of water, do a few Secret Soviet breathing moves, and then I stick a run on top of it. And then jump into a shower, and only after that have a coffee and check my phone. So you see, there is a mixture here of the things I already do, which is a trigger, with new additions and a small reward in the end. No run, no coffee. No training, no breakfast. Next, you have to change the self-perception. Be the person you want to be before you really become it. So from this day forward, if you also decide to work on running, let's say, you are not a person who tries to run, because that person defaults to not running. Instead, you call yourself in your head a runner. That new you defaults to getting out even if the total run is going to be 100 steps. Number 4 is social responsibility, and here we can double on that self-perception. Your brain doesn't like cognitive dissonance, it's too taxing, it wants to be consistent with what you think, with what you say and what you do. When I think to myself, I'm a runner, when I say to you, I'm a runner, my emotional monkey doesn't want to be caught lying, and for the run we go. Here's a simple exercise you can do right now. Think about one thing you want to improve the most and write it down below in the form of I am that thing. It's going to toggle multiple switches in you. Number 5. Gamble. You can spike your dopamine by binding your new activity with something else pleasant, like listening to music or a podcast, but don't do it every time. When you're already out, flip a coin and either enjoy the music or enjoy the clean, pure effort. But that effort you have to fully embrace, because that's where the change happens. Think about it like a game. When you feel the resistance but get through, all that experience makes you so much better. In a way, you absorb that energy which you conquer. It applies both to mental resistance, get up, put the shoes on, and to the physical resistance. Run another 10 steps, and then maybe another steps, to that mailbox, then to that mailbox. Number 7. Exponential return. The only way forward are small but consistent improvements. Don't try to kill yourself with big efforts, because the goal right now, at least, is to make sustainable habit. So, KISS. Keep it simple, slow or short. If it's too hard, run slower, okay? Again, small efforts but consistent. At this stage of the game, we are not after the massive gains, but after making the new groove and retraining that monkey. If you put too much on her back, it will crumble. I've tried once to get into lifting weights, running and waking up early all at the same time. Sounded great on paper, but you know, the monkey had a breakdown. So, reward yourself mentally for the smallest effort. Don't think I could have done more, instead think, yeah, I did more than nothing. And keep the track of that winning streak with a journal. Or there is a great website called Habitica, which helps to gamify your efforts and provides in-game rewards. Number 9. Don't forget about sleep. Did you know that sleep quality affects how both motivated you are and how hard you can push yourself? Think about your willpower as about a limited resource, which gets used through the day and then get replenished when you eat and sleep. So don't overtax your battery and keep it charged. Good news, all this process, if you follow it, grows the battery in parallel. And the next one is not from the books, it's from me personally, that's why you're here. Whatever you do, start with love. If you like yourself, if you love yourself, you will succeed, because love always wins the day. If you don't like yourself, or worse, hate yourself, you will sabotage yourself. So put love before the horse. If you decide to skip a day, have an extra cookie, whatever, always say to yourself, it's the best thing I can do for myself right now. This is what stops the bad binges in their tracks. And I've been applying all the above for 2 years right now to my own life. And what can I say? It takes about 6 months until you yourself notice some improvements. And about 2 years for your friends to notice and start commenting on, which is kind of funny, because you've been posting regular updates that you now exercise, and in 2 years they're like, oh, you exercise now. Duh. And about 3 to 5 years to actually go from impostering to full tilt. Yes, that's who I am right now. You know, that's when your lazy monkey switches to the new tracks. And I'm almost here. And don't get me wrong, hard things, they are still very hard, but how should I put it? Trying and doing these hard things is a habit in itself. And the more you do it, the easier, well, not easier, the more doable and enjoyable it gets. Yeah, it doesn't get easier, but you learn to enjoy doing the hard things. And so how far you want to push yourself when it comes to exercise, it's up to you, but there is minimal effective dose for health and longevity everyone should be at least aiming for. I have it covered in this video, go check it out. Living is smart, aging is bad. See you there.